So I'm Mahogany Jones, event producer at Event Specialists and founder of the EventPreneur Club. So I'm on a mission to empower event industry entrepreneurs to dream big and to build a profitable business on their own terms. So I have the privilege of working with eventpreneurs to build, market, and grow their businesses through consultations, professional development opportunities such as these, and then courses offered to our members. A major challenge that many of us small business and solopreneurs face is how to turn prospects into paying clients. Many of us aren't adept or even comfortable, and we don't feel confident when it comes to selling. So this can present a huge hurdle for many of us. So it's particularly true for people with service-based businesses, like us meeting and event professionals, as well as people like coaches and consultants, because the product that we're selling is ourselves. However, we can turn this challenge around. I know I've had to struggle a little bit to do this myself, but I'm really hoping that these keys that we're about to present will help each of you as well on this journey. The goal of today's session is to empower you to take these 5 keys and apply them to yourself and to your business. So we'll learn the 5 keys as well as identify the action steps to take to accomplish each of them. I want you to grab your pen and paper and take notes along the way. I will have some questions that I'll be asking you to take notes on, and I really want you to take this time to dig deep and then write down what comes to mind. Write down what you feel first. Don't feel like you have to overthink your answers. This is a time of reflection and a time of learning. My passion is you, fellow eventpreneur. So the last few years, I've obsessed about helping entrepreneurial leaders, helping event industry entrepreneurs to get what they want out of their businesses. And in the interest of helping you get what you want out of your business, I'd like you to think of what you want from your business. So just take a minute and really look forward. But I have 2 criteria that I want you to consider. Number 1, it has to be at least 5 years out. Where do you see your business going? What do you want your business to look like in 5 years? The second criteria can only be one thing. So what do you want your business to look like? And what is that number 1 goal, either 5 years or more, that's out? It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. I want you to hold that thought in your mind, or better yet, why don't you write it down? And if you're comfortable enough, feel free to put it into the chat. I'd love to see what your goals are. Remember, this is a no judgment zone. The EventPreneur Club, we are here to support each other and to collaborate. So really think about that. What do you want from your business? 5 years out or a little bit more if that's more comfortable for you. So as I mentioned, my obsession and my passion is helping you get what you want from your business. It started for me about 15 years ago. I had trouble trying to find an event management job, so I opened Event Specialists. I mean, I was 20-something who wanted to find my dream job, so I made the path for myself. So what I noticed is that there were 2 types of people in the world: those who got what they want from their businesses and those who didn't. And what I noticed as that 20-something-year-old business owner is I had no fear, and closing clients was a matter of taking referrals, attending network events, and then asking for the sale. Over the years, that started to change when I realized that event specialists provided enough work for me, but not enough to hire someone else. And then I had to ask myself that question: was I a glorified freelancer? And that brings us to the keys. Let's dive in. So the 5 keys that we'll be covering today will be: number 1, overcome the mindset issues and difficulties about selling. I really want you to reframe how you're viewing selling and offering these opportunities to your clients. Number 2, know what your client wants and match your offer to their needs. I mean, we're event professionals, and a lot of times we know what the client wants, but it isn't always what they want, what they understand they want. Number 3, be confident in yourself and your service. I mean, we are the unicorns of the industry. Let's own that. Number 4, hold strategy sessions with your prospects. And number 5, use sales skills that don't look like selling. We don't have to feel like used car salesmen when we're promoting our businesses. So let's look at number 1. Overcome mindset issues and difficulties about selling. So for many of us who are not expert salespeople, there are a lot of mental hurdles that stand in the way of moving prospects to paying clients. So these mental blocks include thoughts like, selling is sleazy. I don't want to be in sales. I don't like selling. I'm not good at selling. What if they say no? I know for me, that was one of my biggest challenges. And I still struggle with it today. When I put that proposal out, are you putting that proposal out understanding that you still have the opportunity to win that bid? Or do you panic? What if they say no? So overcoming these mental blocks is essential. It's a real challenge for some people as the mindset gremlins are well established. But if you confront them, you can come up with strategies to combat them and win in this war against the gremlins. For example, if you're stuck in the idea that selling is sleazy and that it's just uncomfortable, think about the last product that you bought that you love to death or that really suits your needs. Was that person who sold it to you sleazy? Did Amazon take advantage of you and rip you off? Chances are that the salesperson that you worked with who helped you, or that lovely Amazon website that you went through without feeling like you were being sold to, you can be that person as well. And what about fear of rejection? I know that is a constant struggle with a lot of us. We're afraid of fear and afraid of rejection. So for many inexperienced salespeople, the dreaded word no haunts us in our nightmares. So when a prospect says no, it feels personal and it hurts. It almost feels like it was a direct attack against us. Why didn't they choose my proposal? Why wasn't my bid chosen? But you can combat this negative thinking by realizing that the prospect isn't rejecting the offer, is rejecting the offer. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the service that was presented to them or the product that was presented to them. And it's simply because the offer isn't the right match for them. So you can also turn this no around and make it a learning experience. The prospect has given you something valuable by refusing your offer. So they've shown you that there's a flaw in your targeting. And if you analyze the reasons why, you can learn something and perform better next time. And sometimes too, we just have to acknowledge that not all business is good business. That no might have saved you a lot of time and heartache. I feel as event professionals, we like to go into a lot of our sales conversations and book that client because of that need of fulfilling our sales targets for the month. But not all clients are good clients. And maybe that no was a blessing in disguise. So a little bit of work. What's your next steps? And how can we get through this first mindset challenge? When you think about selling, do you get a bad feeling in the pit of your stomach? So imagine the sales process and the process that you try to take your prospects through. So what part of it gives you that bad feeling? Is it when you ask for the sale? Is it presenting your services? Is it actually saying what you do? Because a lot of times that's a fear as well. So what can you do to combat this feeling and make it easier? So I want you to write that down. So what do you think about when you're worried of selling? Or what do you think about when you're going through your selling process? Write that down. Write those feelings down so that we can work through that and decide how are we going to get past that. Number 2, know what your client wants and match your offer to their needs. So you may offer great event design services that you know will help many businesses and or associations, but still you put the offer in front of the people and they say no. And why is that? Well, perhaps your offer simply isn't for them. The service may be wonderful. I mean, I know it's needed, but maybe you're targeting the wrong market. So how do you find the right market for your excellent service? You do it through market research. So conduct research on your potential clients and find out what they like, want, or need. Do they host company events focusing on the experience? Or do they produce events because they have to? Those are very different clients who will have very different needs. And event design may not be something they're looking for, especially if it's something they do for the sake of doing it. They're not really thinking about how they can enhance the experience for their attendees. Most of all, you want to focus on a pain point or a problem that your service can solve. So we hear it all the time, but people spend money on services that relieve pain or help them overcome problems. I mean, we're event professionals. We're problem solvers by nature. But until somebody experiences the challenge of planning that event or understanding the needs of their attendees, they may not even see the need for hiring a planner. And we can't take offense to that. So what services do you offer? So let's think of an example. Let's think you're selling a service that handles social media for event businesses. We see a lot of those, and I'm sure you've been solicited by a lot of them yourself. But event professionals, as you know, we're busy, and many of us don't understand how to use social media effectively. A business owner might feel that it needs to use Facebook since everyone's doing it. But where do you start? As a service provider with deep experience and a track record of proven results with social media, you just need to put your offer in front of the business like this. But what if you offer this high quality service, this high quality social media service to a young tech savvy company that already knows how to do its social media? Even if you're the world's greatest social media whiz, your offer just isn't suitable to a business like this. It's not a rejection of the value of your offer, but simply not a good match. A lot of times, this is what happens to us in event management or in selling our services. So I really want you to think about that. It's not a rejection of the value of your offer and the value that you bring as a planner, but it's simply not a good match for that. Next steps. So what problem does your service uniquely solve? What kind of business is in dire need of this service? So I want you to write this down. So what problem does your service uniquely solve? Are you an event marketer with exceptional experience in helping to get attendees to events? Are you an event designer that creates unique experiences to help gather people in experiences that they will talk about for years to come? Are you that logistics magician or that transportation magician that is able to get people from A to B without even batting an eye? What is the service that you offer, and what is the problem that you uniquely solve? And then think about what kind of business needs this service. I mean, a lot of times it's a lot easier to think about someone like a wedding planner. I mean, what kind of business needs or what kind of people need this service? Brides who are overwhelmed. It's very easy to pinpoint. But I want you to think about this in relation to your own business and write it down. So what problem does your service uniquely solve? And who needs this service? Is that a trade association? Is that a corporate business? Is that a type of entrepreneur, even if you want to go that deep? If your unique offering is an event technology solution, what business could use that? I know we have a lot of members in the EventPreneur Club who also own venues. So what does your service uniquely solve with that venue? Number 3, be confident in yourself and your service. We are in the 5th most stressful job, and we do it with such grace. I want to commend all of you eventpreneurs for even taking the leap to own your own business in an industry that I feel isn't always appreciated. But we are the silent leaders from behind the scenes, and it's a place I actually love to be. So having confidence in yourself and your service goes a long way in selling effectively. We are magicians, unicorns, and miracle workers to many. We put out the fires before they even know they existed, and we make things happen effortlessly, make it look effortlessly. How's the words working for you today? We make it look like we had no effort at all to make it happen. The key is to understand the unique value you're offering. So it's helpful to understand the strengths of the service you're offering. So think about your own skills. For example, like I said, you may be an excellent logistics coordinator who can optimize the event details like nobody else. You may have a unique skill that other event professionals or other event management companies don't have. You can also consider your service packages. What about the packages you offer is valuable or unique to your clients? I want you to write that down and really think about that. What unique skills that other similar event professionals have, or event venue owners or AV providers, and then consider your service packages and see how that might be able to be tweaked to serve you better. And it's also important to know that your services, know your services weaknesses. We're unicorns and magicians, but let's be fair, we all have our own weaknesses. And it's important to understand those without holding any reservation or judgment. This is not negative to know your weaknesses. It's actually better for you to understand your weaknesses so that you can consider what to outsource, so that you can consider which partners to find when it comes to your weaknesses. And then you can really make sure that you're delivering the best service possible to your clients. Are you weak in presenting data? I know a lot of people that seems to be a challenge. They're afraid to put those spreadsheets and those charts together. Most event planners, we're whizzes with those spreadsheets. And then are you weak in adding creative elements? How many planners do you know think balloons would be just as pretty as flowers, or that is what it takes to make an event experience creative? I mean, let's be fair. Not everyone is creative in nature. And then again, it's not negative and it's no judgment, but we all have those event planner professionals that we call for those great innovative ideas because that is their specialty. Same thing comes with the technology side. If your weakness is understanding the AV, why not reach out to another event professional whose area of expertise is exactly that? There's nothing wrong with raising your hand and saying, I am not the expert at all things, every element of your event, but bring in your team because it's what makes your event better. I want you to compare your offering to other event professionals or to similar people in your industry, and then look for ways that you can further set yourself apart. I want you to really think about this. For those of you in business who don't have a unique value proposition, I'd like you to consider writing that down. And it's a simple statement that describes your product or your service. So you can clarify the unique value of the product or the service by writing out a unique value proposition. And it's literally the statement of what your product does and how it helps people. So you could write something like, I plan your wedding so you don't have to. It's a simple, unique value proposition, but it still does the job. And what about our event app solutions help you manage your volunteers and maximize the event experience? Or a simple social media dashboard where you'll take in everything at a glance. So there are many good strategies for instilling confidence in yourself, but recognizing the value that you offer. Really think from within and really consider what you offer as an event planner. And don't be afraid to toot your own horn. I know a lot of times we like to hold back and to hide behind our client pictures, but we did that. We helped to bring that together. Strategies to instill confidence. I'd like you to recognize yourself as an expert. We are the experts in our industry, and we need to reclaim and own that. How many of us are afraid to go into a meeting and to let our client know that the event they're producing is a waste of money because it has no return on investment? and it's not even answering or solving any of their business problems, and it doesn't even meet their goals and objectives, you are the expert, and we need to own that. You know more about event planning and design than your audience does. I mean, we've spent years training. We are not that fly-by-night planner who planned their cousin's party last week and now they are comfortable and ready to open a business. You are not that person who planned their own wedding and felt, oh my goodness, I know it all. I'm opening an event management company. You may not see yourself as the expert, but that makes you one. We've been doing this for years, and it's time to claim our expert status. Why don't you consider every win? Celebrate all things. For those of you in the group, in the EventPreneur Club Facebook group, you know that I am constantly celebrating all of the good and the wins that we are doing. Did you close a new client? Did you bring a new idea to an event? Were you able to sell out those events? Consider those wins. You got someone on your email list. I know for a lot of event planners, we actually didn't consider running our own lists and building our own following. You have prospects who have expressed interest in what you're doing. You received a sale. Each of these little victories, you should recognize. It's progress. Recognizing these victories builds momentum and confidence. And remember, everyone has to start somewhere. And I'm not sure if you heard this saying before, but when you get a sale, they often tell you what is the thing you should do next. So go after that next sale. Continue that momentum. Ride that wave of positivity. Go for it and celebrate. I may celebrate a bit too much, but hey, that is me. And I was born to be a professional cheerleader. Why don't you visualize success? I mean, this is what athletes do. Before they get started, they fantasize and they imagine what it's going to be like to win the gold medal. Doha is tomorrow, the World Track and Field Championships. Do you think those athletes aren't preparing? Definitely are, and they're visualizing that gold medal. And then when you visualize your success, it gives you feelings of positivity and confidence. Remember what it was like when you were younger to visualize that A on the paper, or to visualize winning something, or even something small, like remember when you were young and you were so proud of something that you attained. Think about that feeling and really visualize that for yourself. What do you want success to look like? Success for me may not be what success is for you. And I know I got caught up in this as well. Visualize success and what it looks like to you. Success doesn't necessarily mean a dollar value or a number of employees. It's whatever success looks like to you. And I really want you to own that and write that down and then visualize it, because we're supposed to visualize. And you want to lift up those around you. We can't do it alone. This industry is all about collaboration. And it's important that we assist others. There's a member in the group who is working on finding proteges to train them on her process. That is exceptional. You want to lift up those around you. You want to recognize the achievements of those around you and celebrate them. Collaboratively, we can change the industry if we celebrate all wins. I love to celebrate when others are winning the top 40s or influencer of the year. I mean, a lot of these are paid acknowledgements, but we'll take them. It is time for us to support each other as an industry so that we can change it from the inside. We know what's best for the event industry. Let's claim that and lift each other around us up. And when you see the good in others, it's much easier to see the good in yourself. I know there are many members of the EventPreneur Club who were afraid to actually submit their own names for acknowledgements and awards for some of the great work they've been doing. Why not tap that colleague on the shoulder and let them know that you think they are deserving of this? It only reinforces our industry. Only associate with positive people. Easier said than done. I mean, we don't always, we do sometimes have negative Nellies around, but you want to surround yourself with people that make each other feel good, that cut the negativity. Toxic people, we don't need them. We can cut them out both professionally and personally. I mean, how many of us have gone into meetings with other planners who are like, that's just not possible, or we can't do that. Well, we tried that 7 years ago and it didn't get us the result we were looking for. You want to really consider who you associate with obviously when possible. And we want to view each step as a learning activity. Everything you do is a learning process. When you make a mistake or you fail, you'll naturally feel that sting, but learn to recognize these as the most valuable learning activities. You want to learn and chart your growth, and this will help you to instill confidence. So recognize these failures, write them down. There's nothing wrong in saying, oh my goodness, I failed in that client meeting. I failed to outline those meeting expectations, and now I'm doing all the things and working longer hours. I actually didn't add that to my scope of work, but if I don't do the work, the event may not succeed as we originally planned. Write down those learning moments and grow from that. Maybe you need to adjust that scope of work to make sure that scope creep doesn't happen as often, or that you've learned how to understand the number of hours it takes to produce your events, or even understand your clients. Some clients are more demanding than others. Maybe you need to factor that in. I have a mentor once that used to say we should add the aggravation quotient to our quotes when it comes to certain clients who you know are a little needier than others. What can you do to learn from these activities and the things that are happening in your business? Your next steps, I'd like you to take a good look at your offers and find the genuine strengths of it and the unique way it solves people's problems. And then try out one of the confidence strategies that we just talked about. And if anybody wants to share in the chats or in the comments, write one of your service offerings that you feel is a great strength for your company. I know we actually have furniture rental companies, and their strength and their genuine strength is that they provide quality furniture for your event that really elevates the standard of your event from the moment your attendees walk in. Their product is bar none something that the others should aspire to meet, because there's nothing worse than getting furniture rentals that look like they should have been retired 7 years ago. So try out one of those confidence strategies, and don't hesitate to let us know in the group. I'd love to hear how any of those have worked out for you. Now let's move on to step 4, or to key number 4. Hold strategy sessions with your prospects. And a strategy session, or called a discovery call, or whatever you would like to call it, it's a conversation to generate the sale. A lot of times I feel we skip this step when it comes to turning a prospect into a client, in hopes that we can either close the sale faster, or we skip it altogether and then wonder kind of what happened in between. So holding strategy sessions, it's a method for getting sales of your event, services, or product quickly. It's a strategy session is a genuine conversation with a prospect to determine whether your service is a genuine match for their needs. So in a strategy session, first you listen, then you answer questions about your offer if it seems like a fit. So maybe they're looking for an event designer or an event technology consultant. Is that a service that you provide? Is that something you are willing to offer? So by the end of the session, you have a good idea whether or not it's a good match or not. And if it's not, you have some feedback to help you make improvements in your own service and targeting. Are you getting too many clients calling you for last minute events that aren't in your wheelhouse? Do you not want to do galas and that's who's calling you for work? Really consider what you're putting out there And then take that feedback from these calls to find out what you can do to adjust your own strategy sessions. And if the service turns out to be a natural match, then you have a sale. Of course, you still have to close the sale and ask the prospect to buy. How many of us are guilty of not asking the prospect to buy when we know they need it? And then when it's a good match and it's more organic and doesn't really feel like selling, then you're winning all around. Set up strategy sessions with interested prospects on a regular basis. I mean, you can do this by reaching out on LinkedIn. You can do this by following up with previous clients. The key is to have your session planned out and present all of the information the prospect needs to know. And you want to try to anticipate the questions they may have and answer them in this session. There's nothing worse than meeting with a potential client and realizing that their association definitely isn't looking for a meeting planner. They're looking for somebody to literally work the registration desk. It's really important to validate your strategy sessions and to get your questions answered as well. And our next steps. You want to identify interested prospects and set up times when you can meet in person or over the internet to discuss their needs and offers. I want to challenge you right now to write down 5 prospects, 5 potential companies, organizations, or people who you would like to work with. Write them down so that you have them top of mind. And that's who you're going to go after and see if you can book those strategy sessions with them. And I will check back to make sure that you have 5 people that you've approached. Number 5. You want to use sales skills that don't look like selling. I mean, we all hate to be sold to or feel like we're being sold to. So there's 3 important skills to practice when you're doing strategy sessions. First, you should ask questions and listen. Now I have to repeat that, and listen. I'm guilty as well for not completely listening wholeheartedly to the answers, but it's very important. Your session should include relevant questions for the prospect. And when they're talking, give them your full attention and listen closely. Try to get an idea of their desired situation so that you can determine whether your service meets their needs. Secondly, summarize as you go along. This shows the person that you're listening, and it also gives you a chance to clarify to make sure that you understand what they're saying. It can also help your prospect clarify their own thinking. Say things like, so what you're saying is. So what I'm hearing is this correct? And then ask them if it's not correct too. So what I'm hearing is this. Is that correct? Is that not correct? Finally, make the invitation to the next step. Again, how many of us are afraid to say, I would love to work with you. Let's sign on the dotted line. You want to lead the conversation from a discussion about your service and the person's needs to some concrete actions you can take as the next step. You can roll this into an offer, saying something like, from what you're telling me, I think my event design services would be most suitable for you. Do you mind if I tell you more about that? From what you're telling me is I feel my on-site coordination services would be most suitable for you. Do you mind if I tell you about that? So next steps, I want you to work the 3 sales techniques into your sales strategies. Again, that was asking questions, summarizing and making the invitation. Use them as a way to smoothly and naturally move the conversation along. And don't be afraid to ask for this sale. We know they need event planning services. I know I'm guilty of it as well, that I haven't always asked for the sale. but let's try to make it a practice to help grow our businesses. I hope you found this presentation helpful. And if you like what you heard and you found it useful, there's also a full course available on the EventPreneur Club website that is beginning on September 30th. And it gives you the 7-step system for converting prospects into paying clients. It teaches you how to overcome your discomfort about selling, focuses your attention on making the sale. You'll learn in depth about your customer. You'll hold effective strategy sessions and more. And then I'll also give you action steps and scripts that you can use along the way. So if you feel the need to learn more about that, don't hesitate to head over to the EventPreneur Club and check out that upcoming course. Now that was a mouthful, and I want to try to simplify it for you. If you're feeling overwhelmed because we've covered a lot so far, I want you to pick one thing to focus on. Feel free to join the free Facebook group for support and accountability. There's a lot of conversation that happens in there, and it's a no judgment zone. We speak from a place of experience, and we offer our experience to others to help us grow. And I want you to get clear on what you want from your business and the services you offer. And then start converting those prospects into clients. I know for myself, it was a very hard journey to realize that I don't want to plan events full time. That was almost scary. Why would I not want to plan events full time if that's what I have always done? But I also learned that I love to speak and I love to teach, and that my calling, true calling, is empowering others. And it's time that I also embrace my own abilities. I really want you to think about that. And with all that said, I'd like to close with this, because my passion, my obsession is you and helping you to get what you want from your business. I'm here to work with you. This has been a privilege and a blast, and I am loving the EventPreneur Club. And we eventpreneurs are blessed to have each other to collaborate with. And I want to thank you for joining this session today. And I look forward to the following sessions that are coming up soon. So up next, we have an Ask Me Anything session with Erin Kaufman that is sure to rock your socks and get you thinking outside the box when it comes to prospecting. Erin of Fifth Element is one of my favorite industry event professionals because he is not afraid to tell it like it is. He's not afraid to challenge us as fellow event professionals, and he's also not afraid to challenge us as business owners. And he is frank and honest and open. So I look forward to seeing you back here at 11 for our next session. Thanks, everyone.